Whenever you are searching for a new home or job opportunity, several considerations should be taken into account. Among these considerations is the very thing we call property tax. Throughout the 50 states of the United States, local governments require their respective residents to pay minimum real estate taxes, and keep in mind that property taxes vary from one state to another. If you're looking for states with the lowest property taxes, I've made a separate video for that, but this time let me introduce you to the states with the highest property taxes. But why move to an area with a high property tax? Well, with high taxes, government revenues soar high too. In an ideal setting, this means that the government can provide better services to you. Hello everyone, this is Sean from PackAndGo, and in this video I've listed all the top states in the United States with the highest property tax. Stick until the end so that you'll know which place you should move in. Before we start, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, it helps the channel a lot. Now, let's get started. Number 6. Texas. Let's start this list with the state of Texas. Over the years, the state has been witnessing a steady increase in its property taxes. As of 2022, its average effective property tax is about 1.6%. There's also a growth in its average home value. It's drawing closer to $300,000, with the recent price sitting at $296,000 as of March 2022. People here are paying about $4,700 for their annual property taxes. It is near $5,000, and it is possible that it will reach that mark within the next 3 years. One of the reasons that push the property taxes of Texas on edge is dependency. Specifically, the state is dependent on whatever revenue it can get from the property taxes. After all, the sales tax in this state is quite low. At the same time, Texas is among the 9 states in the United States that don't have a personal income tax. Hence, most of its funding and expenditures are being carried in the property taxes. Another reason for the increase in property tax is the increasing property values. Number 5. Connecticut. With an average effective property tax of 1.73%, the state of Connecticut is the 5th state in the United States with the highest property tax. That rate is pretty astounding considering that the average home value in this area is about $369,400 as of March 2022. Its home prices are higher than the national median home price, which is $325,000. This is proof that acquiring a home in this state is somewhat difficult. Based on the rates, it is estimated that the average amount that people pay for their property taxes in Connecticut is $6,300. Apparently, there's an increase in the property tax rate in this state. Based on the report of Yankee Institute, homeowners of Connecticut are now required to pay higher property taxes than their neighbors in New York and Massachusetts, as high as 20% and 50% respectively. Accordingly, the property tax in Connecticut is unusually high. Based on the trend, it doesn't show any signs of stopping. This trajectory persisted over the past 2 decades, despite the mitigating efforts to shift the burdens of property taxes to other forms of taxes at the state level. But the residents in this state are no longer surprised that this is the case. After all, the rest of New England isn't new to high property taxes. One reason for this is the high cost of living within these states. Number 4. Vermont. You'll be surprised that Vermont is among the states with the highest property taxes. Currently, the real estate tax in Vermont is 1.76%, which is pretty close to the next state on this list. Meanwhile, its average home value is $347,300. I don't know about you, but that's pretty expensive for me. After all, that's higher than the national average for home value. That's something that you should take into account. With that rate, it's estimated that the residents of Vermont are paying at least $6,100 for their property taxes each year. It's pretty steep, and I can't really downplay that. The cost of living in Vermont is not that high. Every year, the cost of living of an average Vermont resident is about $47,300, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Within this figure, $9,000 goes to housing and utilities, so we can assume that more than half of that $9,000 goes to property taxes, if it is included in the calculations. Interestingly, the government of Vermont offers a property tax credit for those individuals who have difficulties in paying property taxes. There are certain qualifications for this tax assistance, such as income. Number 3. New Hampshire. The state of New Hampshire also has a high property tax. The current rate is 1.89%, which is the 3rd highest in the United States. And since it has a high property value, the amount of money that people pay for their annual property tax is quite steep. Right now, the average home price in New Hampshire is roughly $434,500. This means that the annual property tax that you would pay there for your house is about $8,200. Needless to say, that particular rate is going to hurt you especially if you're trying to live frugally. Fortunately, the median household income in New Hampshire is high. Based on the recent data, the average household income is about $88,200. It's indicative that residents there can still pay their property taxes. The cost of living is pretty moderate in New Hampshire, so that should balance things out as well. New Hampshire's government already addressed that its property taxes are assessed properly based on actual value and proportionality. At the same time, it has been stated that the proceeds of the taxes are for enhancing the public services and infrastructures. Since New Hampshire is a good place to live in, I guess that its property taxes are used correctly. Number 2. Illinois. The state with the second highest property tax is Illinois. Its current property tax is 1.97%, or almost 2%. That's pretty high, right? But don't fret yet. You see, Illinois has an average annual property tax of $5,100, which is relatively smaller compared to the property taxes of other states here. But what is the reason for this? Well, that's because Illinois has a low average home value. As of March 2022, its real estate price is only $258,800, which is definitely more affordable than other states. This means that while the property tax is high, the actual amount that you're going to pay is still moderate. However, the high property tax in Illinois is causing some problems. It has been reported that the state is losing its population, considering that it's surrounded by states that have low property taxes. Illinois has to impose high property taxes because of difficulties in finances. For instance, there's a backlog on its pension fund, which is draining the money of the state. Hence, the solution requires extensive, complicated approaches to the state's local tax policies. Number 1. New Jersey. The top state on the list is New Jersey. As of 2022, its effective property tax sits at an average of 2.13%. It has been topping the list of property taxes ever since. And interestingly, Garden State is already comfortable justifying why that is the case. Keep in mind that the rate of 2.13% is already astronomical, given that the home value in New Jersey is at $458,000 as of March 2022. Hence, residents are required to pay approximately $9,700 annually. That amount is pretty painful regardless of how much you're earning right now. In fact, the annual property tax in New Jersey is quite over the top. After all, no other states have reached the $7,000 mark when it comes to annual property taxes. A property tax that is higher than $8,000 is definitely something else, but hey, that's New Jersey for you. One of the reasons why New Jersey has high property tax is because of its population density. Accordingly, the government has to earn more to provide basic services and infrastructures. Moreover, New Jersey has high labor costs. Since it has a high cost of living, New Jersey has to provide some mechanisms to attract people to come there. Of course, that's through higher wages. Another interesting fact is that property taxes pay for everything in New Jersey. Municipal and country governments in other states are imposing sales and income taxes. New Jersey doesn't have these things. It's only the property taxes that deal with various government expenses. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, just hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll see you next time. Stay safe.